Little bass, I bet. Welcome back, everybody. So we've done so many videos of brand new lures to me, fishing for like the first time, that I figured why not throw it back to the roots. This is the first finesse lure I really ever used, and honestly the first artificial that really got me into artificial fishing. It is the Trout Magnet. I have used this thing since I was like 8 years old, 7 years old, and it works phenomenally well. It's pretty cheap for the most part. It comes with a couple jig heads and a few plastics. You can buy kits of these and whatnot, but this is one of the most simple lures and just still works so incredibly well. So we're gonna get out and do a little bit of fishing with this. There are storms, so hopefully we're able to go to a couple different places, catch some fish before we get rained out. If the storms come too quick, we'll have to fish another day, but let's get after it. Got one. First cast. And there we are. We got rained out for a little bit, but it's still raining, but hopefully it doesn't get any heavier. Ooh. Not the first fish I thought we'd catch on this. Thought it'd be a little bluegill, but this thing does catch everything. We'll fish it with just with the jig head and also with a bobber. But they both work. Oh, there's one. What are you? That's bigger. Oh my. I feel like is this a bullhead? No, it's a bass. It's a better bass. It just stayed so down so much and bit when it was almost on the bottom. Like I said, this thing can catch everything. I am shocked that the first fish wasn't a bluegill though. Got one. What are you? Little gill? I think so. Yep. And that is what you should expect. Not a bad one. Not a big one by any means, but like a little 6-incher. Just shy of being able to be kept. These things are just so easy to work too. I typically throw it very similar to, you know, bass tackle and stuff, and just use the jig head and Trout Magnet, but you can most certainly throw it on a bobber. That's what I did as a kid, and it was absolutely phenomenal for like little creeks and whatnot, just drifting it down, and we caught everything under the sun. So it is just such a phenomenal lure for especially kids, you know, or, you know, if you typically use live bait and ran out or forgot to bring it or something like that, to use this in a pinch too. Not going to say that it's going to outfish live bait, but it does a pretty solid job. Oh, there's another one. That's a bigger gill, I think. Or maybe just fought harder. Just fought harder. Pretty much the exact same size. Another little 6-incher. I'd never fished this place before. And I guess that's one good thing about having a confidence bait like this, is if you go to a place and there are fish, you should be able to catch them on something like this. But we'll keep fishing. We might end up hitting a couple more spots. to see if we can't fish a couple other places and catch some more fish. See if we can't get a trifecta and get a crappie yet today, but get him. Is that a bigger one, or is he stuck in the trees or weeds? I don't know what that is. Definitely fighting much harder. It's a bass? Ah, it's a bass. Catching bass everywhere we go. Little guy. And I threw on just a bobber just to see if we couldn't catch one on that, since there seemed to be more bluegill here, but instead it was a bass. I assume there's probably not another one over there after we just pulled that one out, but never know. Get him. Another little one. That one's smaller, I think. Yep. Much smaller. Well, I guess not much, but probably only 4 inches. All right. Well, we might have to go ahead to another spot. We've definitely caught a few out of here already. So, see how many places we can get to and catch a couple fish. Oh, that one. Oh, how small are you? Didn't even realize I had him. Look at that. Now, if we were fishing with live bait, that would be absolutely a perfect size for a bass. 5-pounder would love that. Eat it like nothing. Little bass, I bet. Yep. Little bass. Oh, little bluegill shot out from the shallows. Another, oh, skin hooked, barely. Another little one. Oh, that was instant. Almost ripped the lure off. Yeah, one. What are you? Not big. Bass? Nope, gill. Not a bad sized gill, actually. The biggest one of the day, probably just over 7. Get him. Oh. A little bass, I assume. Is that a bass? No, it's a good gill. Best gill of today. That's definitely an eater. That's all of 8.5. Not a bad one. That will probably be the last one of tonight. But There's one. Felt that one pop it. That's a gill. Oh no, I was wrong. Look at that. That's our crappie. And that is a good one to end it on. Not a big crappie. I would say, yeah, you could probably fillet it. It's probably a little bit small, but what a perfect one to end it on. And so, I mean, that just goes to show you that you can catch so many different types of fish on this thing. It's so versatile. I mean, you can use it on a bobber. Mostly what I did today was just fishing it straight up with a jig head and just the Trout Magnet. If you guys are looking for a super cheap option for an artificial to catch, you know, smaller size fish, obviously, it's hard to recommend anything higher than this. It does such a good job, and it's done it for me, you know, for 10-15 years easily. But it just works so well, and fish seem to love it. But if you guys have used this, by all means drop it in the comment section below. I feel like so many people use this as kids, but it still works today. As always, if you guys like the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, and if you want to see more videos like it, if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that'd be greatly appreciated also. Till next one.